I was in an abusive relationship on and off for about 10 years. Verbal abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, things that I thought, oh, this will change, this will be different, When he's not drunk, it's not gonna happen.
When we have people come to our shelter or come to us to work with us or looking for help, they're at a point, a really low point, and they're also at a point where they don't know where else to turn. They were told they're worthless, they won't amount to anything, you're nothing without me, you can't do this without me.
Second to third year, I started getting physical, and then it was worse and worse the more he was drinking or the more I would try to confront him on those issues. I thought, how am I gonna get away from this? I don't have anywhere safe to go. I don't know what to do. I would leave, I would take him back, leave, go back. The longest I think I had been gone was about almost a little over a year. And I think around that time, he had realized, this is it. She's not coming back this time. It's done, it's over. I had brought my daughter and my other son back to their dad's house, came back to my mom's house, and his car was there. And I just knew this is not gonna go well. This is just inside me, this is not gonna go well. And he was passed out in the basement, and I kept trying to wake him up and tell him, you need to leave. You're not gonna do this in front of my kids no more. I told you to leave, I told you I was done. It's time to go. And he literally beat the living crap out of me with my daughter hanging off of one of his arms and our son hanging off the other one of his arms as he was just going crazy and punching me. And I had called 911, and as I hit, the send button, he had grabbed the phone and threw it across the room, but the phone had stayed on, so it had been recording.
When there is a domestic assault in Anoka County, the law enforcement calls Alexandra House and gives us they give us a report, and we do follow up with the victim of that assault.
I did end up at the hospital, and during that time, I remember them asking me, a whole bunch of questions like, do you need a shelter? No, I don't, why do I need that?
They've been conditioned to think that the behavior that's going on there is normal, or that it's their fault that it's happening. If you wouldn't be so lippy, I wouldn't have to beat you, something like that.
But then I went through all these questions, and I had spoken to somebody on the phone, I believe, from the Alexandra House. And so I thought, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to go to a shelter. I had no idea what it entailed, what was gonna happen.
When they do actually have that strength or have that courage to reach out to us, we try to let them know, this isn't normal, this isn't okay. You deserve to be safe, you deserve peace, you deserve not to be, physically assaulted, verbally assaulted, emotional abuse, any of that is not normal.
I remember walking in, and I was by myself because the kids were at school, and I had, our 3 little bags, a couple bags or whatever, and just being scared. I was so scared of what's gonna happen. How are these people gonna protect me? How is this going to change anything?
For Stephanie, one of her biggest challenges was actually accepting the help. But when she was in the shelter and she saw that there was all these other women, everybody's story is different, but everyone's there for the same reason. And when she saw that she's not alone, she wasn't exaggerating things, that she actually was a survivor of domestic abuse and she deserved the support and help that we were giving, she ran with it.
And then it was dinner time, and I remember there's these tables, and you don't know anybody, you don't know anything, but yet you're all going through the same thing. So you have this connection in a way, this unspoken thing almost. And I met some pretty amazing women in there, something I never thought I'd go through, and now going through it, it's amazing. Changed my life.
Women and children are staying at our shelter, it's their home. And so we do everything in our power to make sure that they feel comfortable, that it's a refuge.
We were at the Alexandria House for about 6 weeks, maybe 7 weeks. We were there quite a while. During that time, I still had court processes to go through. My abuser was trying to fight me for custody of my children, and fight the case at the same time all of this was going on.
We did have an advocate support her through the criminal process, through his proceedings, and she also met with one of our civil advocates who works with the court to file what's called an order for protection.
You have to have that support system. You have to have that person or somebody that's been through it before or understands you and can empathize with you and explain to you. It's hard right now, and it might get even harder, but at the end of it, it's so worth it. The self-respect I have for myself, the love I have for myself, never had that before. I never had that. I have my happiness, I have my joy. My kids are happy, my kids are healthy. They still struggle, they still go through bouts of whatever. They're still in therapy. My kids, my two youngest, are still in therapy. They're still working through their issues, but it gets better every day. You could have never told me that it was gonna get better. There was nobody that could have showed me it was gonna get better. I don't care if you had a magic crystal ball and said, look, 2 years from now, or a year from now, or 3 years from now, this is where you're gonna be. I would have never believed it, ever. My life now, I am so grateful